pre-show conversation. We
Sorry.
talk about how we record it like this, lovely. And we're going to take the call in one direction, and we just pivoted because we were on a growth call with Mark King and Jason Abrams, and they were going over some scary numbers with us, or industry-wide scary numbers with us on closings down, under contracts down, all these things. And he said, well, what are you going to do about it? And so when we were just kind of doing our pre-call huddle, we said, let's pivot. We wanted to talk to you about gratitude and how to love on people, yet we want to pivot this call and really talk about what do we need to do to get it done. And what do I mean by it, Tiffany?
The simplest is, what was your goal when you turned into 2023? When you turned that calendar over, what was your goal? And if you're not there, how are you going to get there?
Because these calls are great and we love giving the content, yet if it's not going to move the needle for you and make you money for your family and your life, what good is coming on these calls? So we want to make sure we're being very purposeful and we're really talking about the things that are actually going to move the needle. So Nate, are you back on? You're good at that.
I think so. Can you guys hear me?
Kinda.
How's the audio? Well, once I cross over the border from Maine to New Hampshire, it gets better. I know people are like, no, not really, it can't, but it does. It does actually get better once you cross the border.
Don't knock Maine like that. Let's not knock Maine like that.
All right.
I love Maine. Love it.
Nate,
All right.
so tell me something.
So getting it, yeah, so I think getting into action is the most important. That's what changes it, is actually doing something with what you're being given. So taking the things that we say or that you hear on the call, that you hear Gary talk about or Mark talk about, and you actually implement something. Because we can sit in training all day, but if we're not actually doing the action, we don't move the ball forward. And there's a couple of quick hacks that we can do right now to get appointments, and we talked about some of them on our OP call this morning. One of those is going back through the roster and looking at everybody that's left the company in, say, the last 2 to 3 years, and leaning into those names and reaching out to those people that are still in the industry and finding out how they like the experience. What we're seeing in the region and around the country is as the market gets a little tighter and it's a little bit tougher for agents out there, they're not getting trained on how to exist in this world, and we're delivering that training to our agents all the time. So if there's a way for you to go in, pull your roster, start calling those people, invite them to the trainings that we have. We have some great stuff coming up from the region, and invite them to the stuff you're teaching at the office. A lot of times they also feel like they were kind of on an island. What we're seeing with some of our local boutique companies is that the agents there are just, the owners are so busy keeping the place afloat that they don't have time for their agents. And so that's creating an opportunity for us, a little chink in the armor to kind of go in and try to get those people to have meetings with us. So there's one thing you can do. You can start that right now, today.
And that helps with the profit share piece, because we all want passive income, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it helps a lot. It's an easy list to call. You probably already have a relationship, or someone in the office probably already has a relationship. I'm sure the company's changed. What we like to say all the time is, if you are not with us for 6 months, the company's a different company when you come back. There's a lot of different things that we implement and we change, and sometimes we add systems to make the place better, and we're always evolving and becoming a better company. And as we do that, it's different from when someone left. You may find there's a reason they left, and you solve the reason. So I think it's easy conversations to have. You can pull the list in 5 minutes.
So Nate, let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question here. The agents on this call have buyers and sellers that they want to do that with. How can they do that to get into action right now with their clients?
Got it. Yeah, thanks for that, helping me out with that. So I would go back and I'd pull everybody, same concept that we're telling team leaders. I would go back. I would pull every house you sold since you started selling real estate, and I would update them on the market. I would offer them a free CMA. We like to think because we're in this market, we have the curse of knowledge. We think that everybody knows that their house is worth a lot more. Like if you bought it yesterday, it's worth more today. So if you were to go call all your previous clients, all your previous customers, and you were to say to them, hey, the market's crazy right now. We have the lowest inventory that we've seen pretty much ever. And did you know your house is worth X? And if they've been in it for more than a year or 2 years, there's typically a ton of equity there. And don't think you know what their situation is. They may have a relative that's in care. They may have a kid that's going to college or 2 kids that's going to college. They may want to downsize and move south. They may have just lost a job. You don't know what their situation is. So having the conversation about, what they're updating them on what the market's doing, getting an update on what's happening in their world, and having that conversation will get business for you. And I would call 10 of those people a day if you can. And if you don't have the previous clients, you could either ask the team leader, if there's orphan owners you can call, people that have left the business that have sold houses, or I would just start with your phone, which is the best thing to do, and just go through your phone and tell everybody that you're selling real estate. Ask them how they're doing. It's really hard right now in real estate. We don't have a lot of listings. I was just calling to see if you know anybody that I can help sell a house, because their house is probably worth more than it's ever been before right now. It's a great time to sell. And by the way, because inventory is so low, if you're looking to buy, it's also a great time to buy because we know that the values are still going up regardless of the rates. So, really, really, a big, really an important conversation to have with all your people, and to let them know what's going on. We're the stewards of the market. We have to tell everybody what's happening in the market. And right now it's up to us to bring people into the market and try to get them into production. So
yeah, there was a script that Tiffany posted on her productivity portion, and it was basically something like this. Hey, I'm just giving you a call because a lot of my clients and network are talking about their real estate plans. I was wondering if you have thought about yours. Are you not moving in the future? Are you thinking about investment property? Like what, and there's a list of things that you could ask them. But that's just such a simple way. But what I see, Nate, is the challenge with most of us is that we don't end up picking up the phone or making those contacts during the day like we intend to do. How can we do that? Like, what is going to move that needle to make us pick up that phone or make us have those conversations that are essentially guaranteed to make you money as long as you have those conversations?
I think you got to have the conversations first thing in the morning. Anything that's work-like or like a big lift, I try to get that done first. And if it's a conversation that if I'm having call reluctance and I know I don't want to have this call because it's painful or it's going to be, I got to tell someone bad news or I try to get all of the work calls done first. So between, when I start my day at about 7 o'clock, pretty much every day I'm on the phone. So from 7 to 11 o'clock or noon, I try to get all of my real important business calls done, my calls to prospects, calling and wishing people happy birthday, calling and having my dialogues with the people that are going to move the needle for me. I try to do that first. And then I can deal with everything that I get on those calls later in the afternoon. And usually I set my appointments that way too. So prospecting time should be first for most people, first thing in the morning. Now that's not to say if you're a night owl and you have networking that you do every evening or every afternoon, or you've got a club that you're a member of and you're there all the time. I mean, that counts as networking too. And I'm not a cold caller. I've never been a cold caller. I don't like cold calling. I hate cold calling. But I'll go make a bunch of warm calls. You have to do one or the other. You can't do neither. You have neither. You have to pick one and stick to that, whichever one you're more comfortable with. And if you're go out and meet people face to face, we love that. That's even better. But make sure that you're doing a real estate action or having a real estate conversation. Don't cheat, because the only person you're cheating is really yourself and your family. So you have to go out and you have to have the calls on a consistent basis. You have to have the meetings on a consistent basis. My goal was always to get 2 real estate appointments a day. So I was doing 2 real estate things a day, whether it was going on a showing, talking to someone about a listing, going to see a house. And if you can stick to that, if you can do 2 of those every day of the week, you can make a ton of money. And it provide a great life for you and your family and whatever you want to do next. So I would encourage you to do that.
Awesome. I love that. Tiffany, what else do you have to add? Questions
Well,
you
and
have?
there's great questions that you can ask, right? Since you purchased your primary residence, have you applied for a homestead exemption, right? Or a veteran or a blind exemption with the town assessor's office? So how can you add value without it being a real estate call, right? Have you taken a look at your homeowner's insurance policy in the past few years? Especially with values increasing, if they haven't looked at their insurance policy, the value of their house versus what that policy is. So if you add value to them, that
The one thing I would say, the one thing too, Tiff, that's unique about real estate is we're the only industry where people really care about what's going on with it. Like I've never been in a real estate I've never been in a conversation ever with like, what do you do? I sell real estate. Well, the next question is, wow, how's the market? I mean, that we are in an industry where all you have to do is say what you do, and people will ask you how it's going. And you just have to be prepared to answer the question. Well, why? It's great. Why do you ask? Should always be your answer.
and so are
Shouldn't
you
be, oh, it's tough. Oh, the rates are tough. Oh, it should be. It's great. Why do you ask? And then find out what they want. And they'll tell you, oh, I'm thinking of investing. I'd like to buy a house. My brother's buying a house. You know, it all just comes out. We have an industry where as soon as you bring it up that this is what you do, people will like throw up real estate all over you. And then you just have to go and you have to pick out the pieces that you need to move them to the next phase. Like they know somebody that's buying, they're going to buy, they want to sell, they're thinking of buying. Then you take it you just continue to dig in there and move the conversation forward.
One of my agents just got a listing appointment by going to Home Depot when he was checking out. They got in the conversation about what he did. And she said, oh, how's the market? And he said, it's great. Are you buying or selling? And she said, I'm selling actually. And he said, well, let me know, tell me more about that. And he got a listing appointment by just saying that. So it's really a conversations game. That's it. That's all that we're talking about is how many people are you actually talking to about real estate?
Yeah.
If you talk to enough people, the results show. Go ahead, Nate.
I was gonna say, I went to NAR and I had a hat I got at NAR that said want to buy a house on it, and like a trucker hat that said want to buy a house. And I had more conversations with that hat on. Like you'd forget that you were wearing it, and all of a sudden, oh yeah, you know what, I'd love to buy a house. Oh really? Would you? Great. And I forgot that I had the hat on. Oh, and you had to get into realtor mode and start talking to them. So if you don't like talking to people or you're a little nervous, get some gear, get some Keller gear, get a hat. Go to NAR, the store, they sell them. Everybody's got, find something like that, make it easy. Let everybody know. The more people that know what you do, and the worst call you make is the call you make to a relative that you've been putting off and you find out that they just put a house under contract or they just listed their house with somebody else. And that's not their fault, it's your fault because you didn't tell them what you do. You can't get mad at your friends and family for using someone else. You haven't called them in the last couple of weeks. Out to them in the last couple of weeks. And it happens to everybody. And it's the worst feeling when it happens. Don't let it happen to you.
Yeah.
All right, Nate. So what is one task everybody on this call needs to do before the end of the day today? One thing.
I would try to have 2 o'clock before you go home, have 10 real estate conversations.
10. All right. You guys heard it. 10. Who's going to do it?
10 conversations. Say 10 conversations
Kyle
a day.
is. I know Kyle will. I could see it.
I'm an overachiever. I'm going from 4 to 6. So however many time I can fit in there.
Got it. Love
There
it.
you go.
just ask
Set
great
2
questions.
appointments from the 10 conversations.
Yeah.
Try to go
Absolutely.
see some stuff. So the trick is that, when they say, I think, you talk to them and I'd like to buy something. Great. Where do you want to buy? You get the information, you set them up on a drip, and then you watch the drip. And as they're getting stuff, you call them and say, hey, you know what we ought to do? We ought to go see that. And a lot of times people get nervous, like, well, we're thinking in the spring. You know what? Right now is a great time for you to understand the market, to learn how fast it's moving. I'm going to set you up on a drip. As you see things, if something comes up that's exciting, let's just go look at it. And especially couples, if you get them both going and they both go, they're usually that lights the fire and they get in and they end up buying something fairly quickly. But I would do everything I can to to get people out seeing stuff and making it real for them. To me, that was the kind of linchpin to moving forward in the process.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Nate, for coming on the call today. We really appreciate your time. We know how busy you are, so thank you. And thank you for everything you do with the region. I'll see you next week. All right.
Thanks.
Let's,
All right. See ya.
we have a
Bye,
question.
guys.
Do I have a question on here? No. All right. Brooke, Tiffany, let's roll the beautiful social media footage.
Ta-da! Can everybody see? Let me just move
I
some.
make it bigger.
I'm so proud of
I
Nate
know.
using the word drip, like he
I
like drip
know.
campaign. But like a year ago, he would think that's like his coffee dripping into his coffee.
So
in a
good.
cup. Now it's like a drip campaign. He's grown up a lot with technology. I'm proud of
It
him.
has. He's done such a good job. You all have. You all have. It's all these techie words now being thrown around. And Ray, you got to get something for that hat, friend. Now that Nate said it, you're gonna have to want to buy a house on all those chapeaus of yours. You got to do it.
I had a
You
friend-
can't beat Ray and his hat.
You
I was
cannot.
just thinking of that, is getting them embroidered, like Realtor or KW or something on them.
Flip
Yeah,
it
you can't
around.
go wrong
Want to
there.
buy a house and then flip it around the other side. Want to sell a house.
Yeah, yeah.
I had a
Oh.
friend who had a t-shirt really quickly that said, I stopped spinning for real estate referrals. And she would go to spin class every Saturday morning and got 4 referrals in like a 6-month period.
Find your community. That's the big thing. Find your community and use them. All right. So this week's growth call content, it's our last fact versus fear. I loved these. They taught me stuff as we went. I hope your community loved it as well. But before we get into the content, let's go over Tiffany's productivity MOFers and 90-day CAP playbook. Take it away, Tiff.
Sorry,
So our
Tiff, sorry.
MOFR today works for both buyers and sellers, and it's really simple. What are your plans? And this could be an email or a direct message. Reaching out because a lot of my clients at Network are making real estate plans. I wanted to stay up to date with yours. I know plans can change quickly during these times. Which of these would you consider your current situation? No plans, love where I live, planning on making a move soon, thinking about downsizing, thinking about buying and investing property, curious about how market factors have affected my home value. So it just gives them an opportunity to have a conversation with you.
I love these MOFers that you've been giving. They make me happy. All right, here's this week's fear versus fact is that I cannot afford my dream home. When in reality, many people don't go into their first home purchase as their actual dream home, right? They see it as a way to start investing, building wealth until they get to a point where they then can buy their dream home. So did you know that you have the power to buy your own home and save for your dream home? Right? How many of you went into real estate before thinking I'll be able to help people buy their dream homes? And usually it's not always that right off the bat. It's let's get you into a home while you save for your dream home. And I love that they show you how this builds wealth, because how many people are building wealth on this? How many people are using investments to fund their dreams and everything they're doing? I see so many people who are young, who are coming out the gate of college. They're grabbing condos, they're grabbing townhomes, and then they're living in them and then purchasing their next property, then their next property. So let's help our people open doors. And it's not necessarily about the dream home. It's about getting a home. Anything to add, Tiffany or Jen, on that one?
Oh, you did a great job.
Next, who has the best sunset in all of New England? Who has it? Who has the best sunset?
I think I have a pretty amazing sunset. I'm not in the water
Oh.
or anything.
I mean, those bridges in Rhode Island are the scariest things I've ever had to close my eyes and drive over.
I don't live over a bridge. I live across from a blueberry patch, and the sun
Yes.
sets right behind it.
It
It is
does.
absolutely gorgeous. So I love my sunset.
I do. So in the comments, who's got the best sunset and where is it? Same thing to ask our peeps, because New England does have some of the most beautiful spots to watch a sunset, from the coast to the mountains to inland to the blueberry patches. Everybody has a place they like to see the sunset. So you're going to ask your peeps, where do you love to watch the sun go down? Let me know in the comments below. Bonus points for picks. We have a team leader that runs a very successful Facebook group for other realtors in the area, and they always do, she always does, a photo contest for the cover, best sunrise, best sunset, best place to pick apples. Like they're always doing something with photos. So what a great way to find out where everybody in your area likes to go find the sunset. Can anybody guess what next Wednesdays is going to be? Sunrise. Okay. This or that. It's all about art this week.
This
Saw
one
a
was
lot of-
funny for me. This one was really funny because Brooke, you've been to my house.
Yes, there's no art.
There's no art until this weekend when I hung this, and I think I actually did pretty good for my
Tell me
first
those are Evie's. Tell me those are Evie's drawings.
all Evie's drawings there on the wall. So yeah,
So would you consider Evie a classical artist or more of a modern artist?
she's got her own modern take on some twist of classic.
Did you
love
use
that.
a laser level? Those look pretty straight. That's impressive.
I know.
Right?
That's impressive.
That is, I can't wait to see it in
Tell you my
person.
secret, Kyle. I bought a kit and you tape up
Ah,
it. So it's not as impressive as it seems.
you
But
didn't have to tell me that.
Oh, it is cheating. It's cheating. It's okay though, because it looks
lie.
really
Let
good.
me guess, you use double-sided tape too?
Probably like
No.
Command Velcro.
Oh, okay.
painter's tape. I did it right.
No, I meant like to hang the picture.
Oh no, nail. I definitely.
Oh, okay. All right. All right. All right.
Mhm.
We'll give you some credit for that.
I love that. So
Kristen,
art is
I
also,
followed the picture, not the direct. I don't read directions. I followed what the picture showed me. So there we go.
I have to do both. I have to read and look at the picture. Something comes without picture directions, I just cry and I hand it over to my husband and make him do it, or I hire someone at that point to put it together.
All right.
Oh, art is a big topic in our house because it's a house divided. Two of us love modern weird things, and then two of the other people in the house enjoy more classical things, where I am all about bold, bright colors. The other half of my world is a little less exciting than I am. So put in the comments, how do you design or decorate your world? So this or that is, we're diving into the world of home decor when it comes to decorating with art. Do you lean towards sleek and contemporary, or are you all about the classical painters, right? How many knockoff Monets or Picassos do you have in your house? And then you're going to ask your peeps, what's your favorite piece? Another way to just facilitate conversation and start to pull tags in. So again, these posts we're doing are all about facilitating conversations that people may not have with you because they don't think it's a real estate conversation. This is meant to help you talk about something. So that way, when you do pick up the phone, you have something to talk about, whether it's a silly this or that Thursday or thanking them for the sunset pick. It's something to start a conversation. And then, oh, by the way, don't forget who's in real estate. I met a contractor this weekend. Picking up our takeout. And I had my KW jacket on, pouring rain. He's like, are you a realtor? And I was like, no. And I work with a ton of them. What do you need right now? He's like, someone to pick up the phone. And I was like, let's exchange conversation. We blinked each other right away. I have his info. We've already had 2 conversations today. He's looking to flip properties all over. Wonderful conversation. And I know where he gets his drinks and his takeout now. So little gift card will be going his way this week. A couple things to mention. How many of you have seen Fierce Conversations come up in your email or on the Facebook groups? Who has heard of Fierce Conversations or taken it? Put your hand up. Oh, Kevin. Hi, Kevin.
So good. Are you guys coming? Are you going to come see Antoinette next month? You guys going to come? Kevin, Christian?
So Jen, tell our friends why Fierce Conversations is so important, especially after what Nate just talked about getting into action, because everybody thinks Fierce Conversations is about being aggressive, and it's not.
Yeah, so Susan Scott is the author of Fierce Conversations, and this was the first course I went to when I first came on to Keller Williams in 2012. I drove out to New Jersey. I'm like, what am I driving out here for? I ended up leaving that course with just a wow moment. And if you are somebody who has conversations in listing appointments, if you have conversations with buyers, if you have conversations with anybody in your personal world, really a conversation anywhere, if you're doing that, you should be at this class. It
This is for
literally
everyone.
is how to handle every scenario and conversation, even conflict and beyond. It is an absolute workshop. I couldn't suggest it more. It does cost a little bit of money, so it would be on your growth plan. It's $3.99 for the ticket. I will tell you, you will get your investment back by that, by having better conversations in your appointments.
And who is it for?
Anybody who wants to have a conversation.
All
think-
right. I've posted the Eventbrite in there. It will be on the growth call again. Please sign up quickly if you think you want to go, because as soon as
Only
we
40
release,
seats, only 40 seats for the entire region available.
and that's not a lot. This is one of those courses you don't want to miss. It does not come around often. People travel from other states to get here and outside of our region whenever Fierce is happening. And we've got one of the best, Antoinette Perez. If you've never taken something with Antoinette, she is amazing. She is a lot packed into a tiny little lady. She's amazing.
She's
Amazing.
my favorite.
All right, let's give something away. What are we giving away? We're giving away.
Oh, that's right, Tiffany. Wait a minute. So Tiffany, the region went and sponsored the Glover U class last week. Christian, you were there. Who else was there on this call? Anyone? Anyway, we were there, and that's right, Brenda. I thought I saw you sitting in the back row near me. So we were there, and Tiffany won for being the furthest drive by miles away. And guess what? She's not keeping the gift. She's gifting it to somebody on this call. So, so Tiffany, I know that you did your randomizer wheel thing.
Yes.
What did we get?
So
So
wait,
I-
what is it? It's the Glover U
Oh, yeah.
planner.
Oh yes, what is it?
Well, and here's the thing, it goes with the theme of what we were talking about. At the bottom of every page, it asks 6 very important questions: contacts made, appointments set, appointments gone on, contracts signed, add to database, and what did you do to grow your life?
How many of you would love that book? I want it. I want
I want it. I want it so bad. I want it so bad.
It's just us, Brooke. It's okay.
Oh, I want it so bad. They're all they're drooling. It's because there's too much drool. Like they're just so excited. Or is that just Judy in the dentist chair doing stuff? I see you.
I love it. Get this-
Spit.
All right.
Our winner this week is Fahad Khan.
Are you on still?
You have to be on.
No
to win.
way. Oh my God. I feel like I got into the Jumbotron in the garden.
You are,
I've
that's
been
it.
waiting for this for
Same
so
thing.
long.
This is the
is
same
it.
thing.
I'm so excited. I won.
Congratulations.
Thank you guys. I love the content. Thank you.
Thank you for being here. All right, so don't go anywhere, everybody, especially if we want to get your
we do
contact
need this.
information. And we have another half hour coming up. Brooke, what do you have coming on?
So today we are talking all things referrals. Last week we had so much fun in Gateway. Gateway opened up their opportunities workshop to everyone in the region. And one of the big pieces was that agents were using buyer and seller opportunities as a way to track their referrals. And you don't do that because you're inflating numbers, units, grows, all these things when we should be doing it in referrals. So we're going to stop in a minute. We're going to re-record and we're going to go over all things referrals inside Command and how to connect with someone.
All right, Brooke, and before I head off, I want to remind everybody there is no call on Monday. Kind of, Brooke and I are a little disappointed on these Mondays, but it's
I know.
okay. We have a long a long weekend ahead of us. So enjoy that weekend. Happy Memorial Day to everybody. And I will see you in 2 weeks. Brooke will probably see you in 30 seconds.
I mean,
All
I'll
right,
be
good
all
night.
over. I'm all over the place.